Alright, here's the finished gun. What I'm going to do is just um, go over everything again. That way if I missed anything in the video, hopefully we can cover it all for you. There again, this is the 32.5 inch gun, the shallow water gun. 32.5 inches from wood to wood. That doesn't include the muzzle. That's 32.5 inches from load pad to the front of the barrel. 2¼ inches wide. And this gun, on the shallow water gun, we do it 1.5 inches deep. 3/4 inch wide, 1/2 inch deep on the slide track, the poly slide track. So it's 3/4 inches wide, 1/2 inch deep by 25.5 inches long on this gun. On the shallow water gun, on the 32.5, I use the compact roller. They do two different ones. They do a pro roller and a compact roller. MVD does. I use the compact on the shallow water gun and the pro on the deep water gun. I'll show you both of them. So 32.5 inches from butt pad to the tip of the gun on the wood. The pistol grip, and I corrected myself on another video. The pistol grip is actually 4 inches long, front to rear, 4 inches long, 3 inches high, 4 inches long, I'm sorry, 4 inches long, 3 inches high, and 2¼ wide. Matches the barrel, the gun, 2¼ wide. And then, like I said, the 3/4 inch hardwood dial in it, 1.5 inches in the gun, 1.5 inches in the pistol grip. I've got notes here, so if I sound like I'm hesitating, I am, because I got a lot of notes here I was going to go over with you. And what we use on this gun, what I use on this gun is a 36 inch shaft. And I set the channel that the shaft rides in. It's a semi-open slot, so it's 3/16 of an inch deep. Is the way I do this, and it works out perfect. And I'll probably make another video explaining to you, you know, the development on this gun. You know, all the trials and errors and the development on this gun to where that's how we got it. I got it figured out that it's the perfect, you know, perfect setup for this gun. I mean, absolutely perfect. Don't forget about setting your trigger mechanism. You know, with the spear that you're going to use, you know, set it. If you don't want it, you know, closed system, to set the spear in the trigger mechanism, and then that'll show you what height you need to set the trigger mechanism, because they won't all be flush if you're not going to do a, you know, enclosed track. So, and the way this one's set up is it has on the bottom here, as you can see, it has a preload hook, and you can get these hooks. They're all good grade stainless steel. Sea Dog makes them. I've got a part number here. Let me find it. They go on my guns. They work out perfect, but it's Sea Dog line, and the part number is 671460-1. That's 671460-1. And these things work out perfect. The way I do them is, when you get them, they actually come with the hook almost straight back, and I curl them around, bend them around to where the line doesn't fall out of them all the time. I just put a hook in them so the line doesn't fall out of it. It keeps the line in place. But the way this gun works is, you set it up as a preload. You let me set this down and I can show you a little easier. You do a preload on it, and it works out perfect this way. That way you don't have to have the pull line on the muzzle of the gun. So you preload it, then you flip it back over, and obviously the spear in it, with the shaft in it. And then after it's preloaded on the first hook up front, then you pull this back and load it on the notch that you're comfortable with on your spear, and then you turn it back over when you're ready to shoot, and you pull it to the first load, which is pulls the band down to about if I remember right, it's like 10.5 millimeters. It pulls a 16 millimeter band down to about 10.5 millimeters, which is a strong shot. I mean, you can shoot it at this and it works perfect. Or you can go to what I call the max load and pull it back, and that pulls this 13-inch band, two 13-inch bands. That pulls this 13-inch band down to just under 8 millimeters. So that's taking a 16 millimeter diameter band and pulling it down to just under 8 millimeters. Believe me, when you pull the trigger, it's gonna go. It's gonna leave. So it's plenty powerful enough. The way I set it up, let me just give you, for instance, from the way I've set this up, and it works out perfect for me. You do it however you want. If you want to follow my instructions, that's fine. The preload hook is set at 10 inches. The load hook is set at 16 inches, and it shoots very well from here. Or you can do a max load, which take some arm strength to pull it to the max load. You can do the max load at 22 inches. And believe me, when you pull it back to the max load, there's a lot of power there. I mean, there's plenty of power there. So the way I do my and I double wrap it. I double wrap it. If you come around to your line release, double wrap it. That gives you, I think, I'm not counting, I think that gives you 5 strands back and forth. It gives you right at 13 foot of distance if you double wrap it. If you single wrap it, it runs out real quick. When you pull it, if you shoot it off the max load and you only single wrap it to the line release, it runs out real quick. It stretches out real quick. So I double wrap mine, and it gives you, I think, 13 and a half foot. The way I do my bungees, you can do them however you want to. The way I do my bungees is I buy the 3/8 Dare-On balls. You can get them, let's see, I've got another note here. You can get the 3/8 Dare-On balls from a company out of Orlando. Let's see, let me get bear with me here. Let me find my note on that. That way I can give you the information. Yeah, they're the 3/8 Dare-On balls, and I drill a 3/32 hole through the Dare-On ball, and that handles 2 millimeter Dyneema, which is 1,000, anywhere from 500 pound or 700. I'm sorry, anywhere from 750 pound to 1,000 pound Dyneema, which is the 2 millimeter, and the 3/8 hole in the 3/32 hole in the 3/8 Dare-On ball works out perfect for that. And you can get them. The place where I get them is called theballbearingstore.com, and they're over in Orlando. Real reasonable. Real reasonable as far as if you do a lot of bands to use these Dare-On balls in them instead of the heavy brass beads or the plastic stuff that's on the market. But the way I like to do my bungees is that way it's a continuous line. Is I actually coil the Dyneema inside the bungee here. The way I do that is I take a punch and wrap the Dyneema around the punch, and then slide the punch up in here and let the Dyneema inside the bungee, as you can probably see it in there. The Dyneema is inside the bungee, and then I tie a knot, slide a bead on, and then do my standard clinch knot. After I splice my my Dyneema, my braid Dyneema, on both ends. That way it's continuous. If your bungee was to break, if your bungee was to break, you still have the Dyneema inside the bungee, and like I say, it works out perfect. I've not had no issues with that. And you can put a nice little inlay in it. I do these just to personalize it. Epoxy your muzzle in, that's in the video. Be real careful, don't put too much epoxy in it. If it squeezes out around the, this fits so close in here, if it squeezes out around the muzzle, it's a pain to clean up. You just need very little epoxy in there to epoxy this muzzle, and it works out perfect. 1/4" stainless steel pin. You can make these out of 1/4" stainless steel bolts. They work out perfect. Don't forget on your line release, drill it all the way through, just in case you have to, replace or remove the trigger mechanism or whatever. You can get your pin out for your line release. Let me look at my notes here and see what else I got for you. Like I say, I make my own shafts out of the on this gun, 1/4" stainless steel. It's you can get it through Speedy Metals online, real reasonable. They're very, very reasonable. Speedy Metals. It's a 7-24 type 630 stainless steel. It's a hardened stainless steel is what I make my shafts out of, and they work out real good. Like I say, it's a 1/4" or 6mm, just over 6mm, 36" shaft on this one. Works out perfect. When you make your shafts, always make them so the flopper's down. When the spear's in the gun, make them so the flopper is facing down. The reason being is if the flopper's up and when you shoot the fish and it falls back down, the flopper doesn't lock up in place. If it falls back down, it's a real good way for the spear to pull back out of the fish, and you can lose fish. If you do the flopper so it's facing down, and most spears are made, factory made, with the flopper facing down. Some of them come with the flopper facing up, but if it's easy to change, you can get these pins from Neptonics and make it so your flopper's down. That way, in theory, when you shoot, the spear shouldn't rotate much as it's going on its way, and hopefully when it goes through the fish, it lands with the flopper down. That way it'll drop down and stay down, and less chance of losing the fish. And something I was going to mention to you too, whether you build your own spears or buy spears, deburr them. Just deburr them. I mean, there's sharp edges on your spears, and it will destroy any gun. I mean, especially if you do a gun that has the poly slide in it. If you don't deburr the notch, whether you use a Euro shaft or American shaft, deburr it. I've gotten shafts, factory shafts, that were like razor blades, but deburr it, or it will absolutely shave any gun, an aluminum gun, a carbon gun, a poly gun, a wood gun. It will absolutely destroy the shaft guide here. So rub your hand over it, feel it, deburr it. Take a needle file or some fine sandpaper and deburr it, and get it so it's nice and smooth underneath, so you don't have no problem with it gouging out whatever gun you have, so it doesn't destroy your gun. Like I say, you can design your gun however you want and do. The way I do my guns is they're all teak. I laminate them together. Obviously, I put that in the video. And I like finishing mine with GM transmission fluid, the Dextron transmission fluid. It's red in color. It gives it a very nice look. It doesn't hurt any of the rubber bungees because the transmission fluid has rubber seal conditioners and stuff like that in it. If it gets on your bungees, it's not going to destroy them. I don't like the glossy look. Maybe I said this before, but I don't like the glossy look. I like the satin or flat finish, so I use Mercon 2 transmission fluid on mine, and you redo it, and it waterproofs it perfect. I mean, absolutely, with none of the hardware on it. You can just saturate it with the Mercon 2 transmission fluid, and it soaks in all the pinholes and soaks in where all the trigger mechanism goes, and just gives the gun a good waterproof coating. It doesn't that way the wood doesn't absorb any water. So, and about every 2 years I strip mine down. You can get teak kits for redoing teak to clean it, brighten it, and then I don't use the teak oil. I use the transmission fluid on it. So this gun, the small gun, you can either free line this gun. What I mean by that is not have a bungee setup. You just shoot the shaft. You just shoot it with no line attached to the shaft. It's a nice gun for that. That way you don't have to worry about a lot of guys. I have one. I shoot free line, and a lot of guys like doing that. That way you don't have all the line to have to reload and reset line all the time. This is a perfect free line gun, so you can set it up that way. Or like I said, if you do the line with the bungee and stuff on it, double wrap it. If you single wrap it, it's gonna run out of line real quick. So very powerful gun on either setup. So double wrap it, that gives you about 13.5 foot. Let's see, or you can set it up with a reel on it. If you like the looks of a reel, you can set it up with a reel on it. All the MVD rollers come with a reel line eye for the reel line to go through, so they're all set up nice for that. You can do a reel on it if you want. One other thing I was going to tell you is on the bottom of your guns, when you pull these back, believe me, when you pull these back, you're stretching a 16mm rubber down to less than 8mm. Make sure you round these edges on the bottom or top. You can do it however you want to. There's no set way of loading this. Make sure you round these edges nice, because it's heck on the back of your hands if you don't round them off real nice when you load these guns.